Hello, my name is Max. I thought today I would do a reading on the Taj Mahal. I just saw a video on the Taj Mahal on YouTube. It seemed kind of shady, and I didn't have a positive feeling about it. And you know how YouTube will kind of like promote certain videos, and they're usually like the dumbest videos. But anyway, yeah, I wasn't impressed. Uh, but anyway, I thought, hey, I should do a reading on that. So I'm going to do a reading on the Taj Mahal. I just want to see, like, so I want to ask, my computer is getting a little crooked here. I want to ask, um, okay, so did Shah Jahan build the Taj Mahal, or was it built in 1600 AD, 1630 AD, or did it exist before? Um, so people are saying it didn't exist before. It was it was built by this Mughal uh, Muslim invader. He invaded India and he conquered this area, and and then his wife died, and he loved her very much, so he built a mausoleum, and the Taj Mahal is that mausoleum. And the adjacent buildings, one is a mosque and one is a something else. We don't know what. Just like a way to like balance out the symmetry or something. Um, but sorry, I'm trying to straighten this out. In any case, people are saying that yeah, he just there was nothing there, and he built a mosque. He built a mausoleum for his wife, and then built a mosque with it and stuff. And but there's a lot of like things that don't really make sense. Like the mosque doesn't really look like other mosques, um, and why would you make a mosque like another building that's not a mosque? Like usually you want to. I guess they're saying the other building, this other flanking building, mosque is on one side. This identical structure that's not a mosque is on the other side. Like I guess it's supposed to be like a home, or like a apartments or something, or a place where people would live. So normally you wouldn't make a mosque that looks like a house, and you wouldn't make a house that looks like a mosque. I don't think that's consistent with Mughal architecture, or Muslim architecture in general. And there's a lot of like there's Hindu symbols like all over the place. Even though a lot of it has been, a lot of the structure has been kind of like the surface of it has been destroyed, and it's been kind of like renovated, or kind of like renovated. So, but nevertheless, even though there's extensive renovations, like in other words, later construction on earlier construction. Um, so even in spite of this later construction on top of earlier construction, you can still see designs that are associated with Hinduism and the Hindu religion, and that would actually be very anathema to a Muslim. Like especially if he was building, a holy, building, a building inspired by religion, and with a mosque, and a place to bury his wife, who was also, I'm sure, a devout Muslim. Um, so why would you uh, have your very highly selected architect design Hindu motifs into this building? Because the argument is that he built it himself, or he built it, but he hired an architect to design it, and this guy is like highly regarded and a master, and and I don't think he would a Mughal king would appreciate his handpicked architect putting um, you know religious symbols of a forbidden religion, a religion that worships multiple gods. I mean, a religion that he's kind of there to destroy, right? And it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like he would allow that, and it doesn't seem like the architect would be inclined to do that, to upset this guy. So there's just a lot of. I'm not going to go into it deeply, but there are videos, and there's bad videos, and there's like maybe one or two good videos uh, on YouTube about it. Um, but there's also so anyway. So there's just like things that are just like they don't seem right. But the prevailing view is that yeah, it's just that he built it. Yeah, there was nothing there, and he built it, and those aren't really Hindu symbols, and and all mosques look like that, and and it's people are just kind of playing these down. All these concerns are kind of just playing everything down, and but anyway, so I thought I'd look at it. So the rule is what everyone's saying is it was built in like the 1631 or something like that. That's when construction was initiated. That's when they broke ground was like 1631, and it's a mausoleum. What we're told. Okay, and I think that's interesting too. Like in India, like it's like the reverse of other countries. Like I live in the United States, and like if there was an Indian town here that we killed or we massacred all the people and burned the village, like we'd know about it. We'd be taught about it in school, and we even have things like land acknowledgments. Where we like acknowledge that yeah we didn't. We stole this land, kind of like we invaded and we stole this land, and this land isn't really ours. It's actually the Native Americans we killed. It's their land. It's kind of like that type of thing. Like these kind of acknowledgments that uh, I don't know, they're kind of embarrassing, and they're kind of, but they're kind of like designed to kind of, I don't know, make European people of European descent like uncomfortable in their own country, and also it's fair to kind of give people, acknowledge people, that came before. But what I'm saying is that's very popular in North America, and I think it's even in Europe it happens, like those land acknowledgements. But of course in a different way because Europeans have always kind of been there, but maybe they kind of they'll acknowledge something. They'll say, somebody lived here who wasn't us, and we took it, or they'll kind of do something like that. But in India, like they don't do that. Like they would not. They don't teach in their schools like, yeah, the Hindus were just minding their business, and Muslims came and destroyed their country, or they don't say that, and they kind of frown upon it. And like whenever they discover that this wasn't always a Muslim place, or this wasn't always a mosque, this was a temple, it's controversy, and it's really kind of like an uphill battle, and I kind of feel the same thing with this. Like there's with the Taj Mahal, like it's kind of frowned upon to even kind of talk about it. When if that was in the United States, if the Taj Mahal was in the United States, we would say, yeah, we took it. This was Native Americans, like the Native Americans built it, and we took it over. Yeah, we won. We won. We went to war. We won. We killed everybody. We burned down what was there, and we built our own thing, or whatever. We would just admit it. But in India, it's like they don't want to talk about a foreign forces coming in and conquering. For some reason, they don't want to talk about it, which is really interesting because it's the reverse of North America. It's the reverse of Europe. But in any case, this is not intended to be controversial, and it's not. I'm not here to demonize anyone. First of all, I don't even know what the cards are going to say. So, but I'm not here to demonize any particular religion or people. It's just history. So it's just for me, it's just academic. It's an interest, like what really happened. So this is not about demonizing people or condemning people, or favoring one religion over another, or anything like that. It's just like I'm looking at this like history class. Every country, every race, every religion has been at one time an aggressor and also a victim. Like they were killed, they were massacred, they were tortured, or they were forced to convert, or they were enslaved, or whatever. Like every race, every religion every nationality has had ups and downs and has been the aggressor and has been the defender, has been the winner, has been the loser at one point or another. Okay, so this is not about favoring one person or another or one group over another. This is not what this is about. I have Muslim friends, I have Hindu friends, I have Jewish friends, I have Christian friends, I have Buddhist friends. So it's I'm not interested in any sort of like warfare between nations. Okay, I'm not. That's not what I'm trying to promote here. I'm just looking at it like a history of the world. What happened, right? We know the Muslims at that time were formidable warriors. They were expanding their empire. Um, why would they, um, you know, why wouldn't they destroy something or co-opt something? Take a building if it was beautiful. Why wouldn't they take it and just keep it for themselves? Why wouldn't they do that? But um, in any case, so I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm not against anyone. I'll tell you that right now. I have friends of many religions, and I don't. I'm not about trying to hurt anybody or hate anyone. I'm not going to do it. It's purely academic. It's just history, right? So let's take a look. Let's see what's going on here. So I want to ask: did the Taj Mahal exist prior to 1631 when Shah Jahan broke ground to build the Taj Mahal as a mausoleum for his wife Mumtaz? Did the Taj Mahal exist? If so, for how long? Also, if it existed, what was it? What was it? Was it a Walmart? Was it a gymnasium? Was it what was it? A concert hall? A parking lot? Where was it? And maybe it didn't. Maybe nothing existed. Maybe it was just grass or a forest or a meadow. Or we know it was right on the Yamuna River, next to a very ancient city. I don't know how old the cities are, because I know there's a couple of large cities near there, and I'm not sure how old those cities are. And that may be something to look into in the future, after we do this reading here. But what was there? Was there something there? Was it this building? Was it a different building? Or was there nothing? Was it nothing? And he's telling the historical record is what we've been taught is actually accurate. It's actually true. There was nothing there, and he built it. And somehow, one way or the other, Hindu symbols were put in there and stuff like that. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, I'm gonna shuffle. Grab some cards. Okay. Trying to focus here, sorry. Okay, let's give it a try here. Queen of Cups reversed. Seven of Cups upright. Six of Cups reversed. The Emperor upright. The Sun upright. Strength upright. The Hierophant reversed. Five of Pentacles reversed. Nine of Cups upright. Death upright. Okay, let's take a look here. So, we see the center card here is the Queen of Cups reversed. Yeah, let me see here. I was kind of having a hard time concentrating when I was focusing on Taj Mahal for some reason. Might be because it's like almost 2 o'clock in the morning. So I kept shuffling to hope that my mind would lock on. But in any case, my fear is that I didn't focus enough right now. So anyway, so the Queen of Cups reversed. I don't know what this means. Generally, it means, I know what it means, obviously, as a card. I know the standard interpretation of the card, but I'm saying like psychically or intuitively, I'm not sure what this means. I'm getting a sense of like goddess worship here is what I'm getting. I'm kind of just feeling goddess worship, and almost like at the same time, like I'm gonna come back to this one, okay? This is like this is really throwing me, and these cards like like I'm gonna it's my brain is like not quite operational right now, so I'm gonna see how this goes here. So we also have crossing it. We have this Seven of Cups upright. This is about ideas. It's about kind of like like kind of like daydreaming or fantasy. I'm kind of getting like meditation, ideas, sharing of ideas. I'm kind of getting like sharing of ideas, like ideas, meditations, like mind-oriented activity, like meditation. That's kind of what I'm getting here. The card typically kind of displays like divine realms and the standard tarot card for Seven of Cups would illustrate different fantastical things, right? Like dragons and castles and stuff like that. So typically it means just daydreaming or too many ideas, and I'm getting like I'm getting like mind exercises or meditations, visualizations, and also visions that occur to people who are meditating when they achieve a certain degree of clarity. Visions will happen, and I've had visions. I've had actual real visions, like where you're. Now I'm not talking about dreaming. I'm not talking about lucid dreaming, which I've also done, but I'm talking about like waking visions, like where you're sitting up and you're meditating like in broad daylight, and your mind will become so clear that images will occur, will show up. You'll see something there, like you're watching TV, and I'm not saying you're imagining it. I'm saying it just shows up. That would be a vision. That's kind of what I get here. I get mind work, revelation, epiphanies, different psychic occurrences. That's what I'm getting here. I'm getting like, I'm getting like psychic visions. That's what I'm getting. And transmission. So like teachings can occur. Like I've received teachings from my guru after he passed, and that would show up in my dreams, not in waking visions, but in my dreams. So I kind of get that. You can have kind of like in Star Wars, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, after he was killed, he could visit Luke in visions and dreams. And that's what I get here. I still don't know what the Queen of Cups is yet. Um, other than it's a female energy. I don't know if it means like excluding females. I don't know if that's what it means. Like there's no females allowed or something like that. Because that could happen, but I don't know. But it's almost like there's no female energy, or I don't know what it means yet. But it's bothering me, and as I continue on, I'll see what happens here. Um, so the crowning card is Six of Cups reversed. So this is a card of growing up. So this is a card of going beyond. It's also leaving home. It's about, but it's like an intentional card. It's not like a disaster or anything. It's like an intentional uh, moving to the next stage, and it's like growing up, taking on more responsibility. So I get that. Like this is like a school or something, or people are going here to advance in some way. They're going here to grow. So it's like a school, like some sort of academy, is what I'm getting. This is a place to like where it's implicit in this card is that you're trying to surpass like others or the mainstream. Like you're kind of going beyond what would normally be expected of someone. Uh, so this is like an academy, advanced learning. So in the recent past of this spread, we have the Emperor card. So this is like this is indicates power, leadership. Uh, this may have been like a place for where kings were taught, like leaders, like high end, like the princes, and high ranking nobility. Um, so this is a place for like high ranking. That's what I'm getting here. Is like, so this is like, I know this is like a warrior. So it would be the uh, Kishat. What do you call it? I don't even know how to say it. I read it my whole life, but I don't know how to say it. But it's the warrior class, the Kshatriya or something. But there's a one class above the warrior class called the Brahmins, um, and that might be signified by other cards here. But this is like people who are going to be leaders. This is where they go. So these are like high-ranking people, and I get the sense that it's very exclusionary. It's not like all are welcome here. It's not like that. It's I'm getting the sense of you need to know your lineage. What lineage are you from? That's what's really important here, and that's what's most important. And actually, in ancient Hinduism, like how people say it's like caste based. Well, the castes were like a state of mind. Like a caste is a state of mind. It's not a caste is like a social ranking. There's like the untouchables, and then there's like the workers, and then there's the merchants, and then there's the warriors, and then there's the spiritual priests or the Brahmins, right? Brahmins, who are the spiritual priests, warriors, merchants, and then workers, and then there's the untouchables. I think that's what it is. I might be missing something, but in any case, but those were not. That wasn't like who your parents were. It wasn't. That's not what it was. It was, what are your inclinations? How does your mind work? What are you interested in? There's some people that are really interested. Like there's craftsmen in there too somewhere. There's craftsmen and merchants, craftsmen, workers, and then shudras, which are the untouchables or something. But in any case, it's about your own psychic motivations, like your own psychic propensities, your mental propensities. That's what caste is about. It's not really about who your parents were. It's about, what do you think about? What do you like? What do you watch on TV? Or like, what books do you read? What do you do when you have time? Where does your mind go? And so that's how you would decide your caste. It's not about who your parents were, because there's plenty of examples in history of people not having parents that correspond with what they end up becoming or doing. So it's not. It has. I think it has devolved. Like usually things kind of devolve, and like people misunderstand ancient ideas. But I don't think castes were what we think they are today. They were different. But in any case, this is like formidable people. This is people with real like power. Okay. So in the deep past, we have the sun. So this is like royalty. Again, so this is like very high-ranking people. It's also happiness, and it's also spirituality, and it's like this is the deep past of the Taj Mahal here. So this is like, this is a very bright, powerful card. It's a card of royalty and government. Typically, an enlightened government, and it's about royalty and spirituality and high priests and authentic spiritual teachings. It's about happiness and joy, and that power that comes from authentic spiritual teaching. So this is in the deep past here. So this is like the foundational card of the spread, and this indicates the deep past. And what's also interesting is this maybe gives some indication as well as to how old the site is. So okay, yeah. So they say the Taj Mahal was built in 1631, or that's when they initiated construction. By Shah Jahan as a mausoleum for his wife Mumtaz, who had passed away. This is saying that this site, that the Taj Mahal, probably by a different name, but that building and that site existed for over 1900 years prior. So 1631, so we're saying like 300 BC. Yeah, I'm getting actually 400 BC. I'm seeing that 4 from the emperor. So we're looking at 400 BC. Okay, so the schools teach that it was built, or they broke ground on the Taj Mahal in 1631. And what I'm getting here is that building had been there since prior to 400 BC. I'm getting 400 BC. That building existed in 400 BC, 400 years BCE. So about 1900 years ago. Or about 2,000 years, about 2,000 years prior to the date that we were given. So 2,000 years prior, it had been standing there for 2,000 years. Is what I'm getting here. At that time, in 1631, when Shah Jahan supposedly broke ground on the mausoleum, that building had been there since 400 BCE, 2,000 years prior. 2,000 years prior. Over 2,000 years. So, yeah. Okay. In the near future, we have the strength card. So, I get goddess worship here. This is what I get, is goddess worship. I still don't know what that Queen of Cups means, though. I guess, water is typically considered the mind in Eastern teachings. Like water represents the mind symbolically, it represents the mind, as does the moon. The moon represents the mind. So when I see the Queen of Cups, um, obviously, it makes me think of the mind and going. And now I'm kind of getting it now. It's like inward, inward, uh, turning inward. In other words, understanding the nature of the mind by meditating, by with it via through instruction from a guru or a master. Um, I'm getting it's like about going inward. It's all about meditation. It's about meditation instruction. That's what I'm getting with it with this Queen of Cups here. Queen of Cups reversed. I had a hard time with this initially, and it's kind of coming to me now. This is like uh, it's like going inward. It's just going inward. That's what I'm getting here. Yeah, it's going inwards. It's this is meditation. I'm trying to think of any of the other conventional readings for this card would pertain to would help me understand this card a little more, because this the card upright is like compassion. It's femininity, it's art, it's kindness, it's women. Um, this is kind of like there's not any women here. um, um, and there's like they're almost like an anti-feminine energy, so they're trying to kind of like there's like a very masculine energy here, like a strong masculine energy. It's like they're kind of like uh, hmm. I get like a serious tone is what I get. I get like a serious tone, and it's about learning how to meditate and practicing meditation and going deep within yourself to understand the nature of the mind. So back to the strength card here. I do get goddess worship with this. This card is typically illustrated with like Demeter. It's like Demeter. It's the ancient Greek goddess, and she has a lion, and or I think it's or even Sybil, like Kybel or Sybil. But I'm getting this is like a goddess worship. Also, it is I'm getting like training. Like it's I get more of that instruction. That's kind of what I get. Like this is it's kind of like a rigorous place. It's not like a boot camp. It's not like military. Although military people go there, it's not a military instruction place. It's a spiritual place. But because of the nature of society at this time, which was 400 BCE, at this time, spirituality is like highly regarded, and it's considered important, and it's not something. It's not for someone who wants to be a king or wants to be a general or who wants to be a servant of the people. It would be necessary for him to go to an elite school where they teach you spirituality, and so I just get a sense of like elite people going here, and they're hand selected, and they're not. It's not just anybody. It's not like we welcome all. Oh, we welcome all comers. Or it's not anything like that. It's very elite. So um, they don't just pick anybody to go there. And it's an honor to go there. That's what I get. It's an honor, true honor. Like not just like how some people say it. They say, "Oh, what an honor," Um, but a real honor. Like a real like you feel it in a real powerful sense when you find out you can go there. Um, you feel like you've just hit the big time. You know what I mean? Like in a real, not in a money sense or like that, but I mean not in like the typical language of success in the modern day Western world or whatever, but like in a really deep, reverent sense. Like you're going to a hallowed institution, something supremely ancient. Um, there's not really, I can't think of a lot of examples in the modern world that would correlate to that. You think of like Oxford University, some sort of like storied ancient place that is very selective, and the people that control it are not corrupt, and they're very highly regarded, and very noble, and they inspire awe and fear, and they're just so much respect because they're just these virtuous people who radiate this power of goodness and wisdom. And so it's a hallowed place. It'd be, I don't think the current pope is not quite like that, but like in old days, like when I was young, there was Pope John Paul, and he was just kind of like, people kind of regarded him as in a really, just through the force of his personality, they really loved him. And kind of like that, because he's part of this ancient tradition, supremely ancient tradition that's very, very dignified and glorious and mysterious, and the Pope, so this Pope John Paul II, I think, from the 1980s, he was like that, like, people, he really like boosted Catholics up, and people saw him, and it was a meaningful thing to see him. To meet somebody like that was like very meaningful. That's the best I can do. Like, Oxford University or the Pope, something like that, where like you're in an elite group, and it's not just elite for the sake of being elite. It's like there's a real depth to the teachings and to the wisdom, and it's highly regarded across society. People regard it highly. It's a universal thing. It's not like there's like people that hate it or something. Like everyone's kind of just like, yeah. So I just get here like rigor and just rigor and high level people and goddess worship, honestly. So yeah, so like I said, I'm getting like it's a temple it's like a complex, and there's a temple there, and it's like an academy, and it's people go there, and um, and it's very important, and it's very old, and this existed prior to 400 BCE. Let's keep going. So in the very bottom here of the right column, the career, it has Hierophant reverse. Um, so what we're getting here is obviously this is spirituality, and it's hidden. That's what I get. This is like it's hidden. I'm getting like it's like magic. They're teaching magic. Uh, so yeah, they're teaching magic, and they're teaching things you're not going to find anywhere else. It's very exclusive spiritual teaching. Um, that's what I get here. So typically, this is a card. This would be when it's reversed like this. It's like rebellion. But I'm just getting like, yeah, we're high priests, but we're not like the high priests from your hometown. We're not like them, and we're not like the high priests that you've been to before. We're different in that we know more. Like we have been taught more. We know more. We've experienced more. So we're different. So um, that's kind of what I'm getting here is that this is a religious institution. Um, it's an academy of some sort, and it's what's being taught is very rare, very precious, very unique. Um, okay, so let's see here. This is the environment. The environment is Five of Pentacles reversed. Um, so typically upright, this would be a card of like spirituality and shelter and safety and people kind of like going there and being attracted to the place and and finding solace or peace. Reversed, I mean, it's typically like a violent card. It's a card of like oppression, Um, what's interesting is we have two fives in a row here. The Hierophant is a five, and then we have the Five of Pentacles. They're both reversed, which is interesting. Um, so to me, the fives are typically a card of instability, kind of like activity. I'm not sure what I get here. I mean, obviously we know. I mean, if something did exist prior to the Mughal invasion, then of course it was attacked and the people were killed, and it was defaced. So there was oppression. Um, but in regards to the question of what was before, that's where I'm kind of perplexed with this. So we know, we can infer that obviously negative things happened to the place after it was taken over or when it was taken over. Um, but assuming, so now we know the place existed prior to, what would this mean? Um, Again, I'm not sure. It's typically a card of oppression. Um, like someone's kind of controlling you and you don't have power. Um, what does this mean in this case? So I have the Hierophant, and it's like, okay, so I'm kind of getting it now, and actually, that the Queen of Cups is coming in more clear too. So when you want to study spirituality, usually something, um, some sort of tragedy will precede that, because otherwise you're having too much fun, right? You just want to go water skiing, you want to get laid, you want to go out with your friends, you want to have fun, you want to hang out with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, you want to have fun, right? You're just too busy having fun. You're just too busy. I can't. Why would I? Why would I want to study meditation when I'm having so much fun? Like, I'm water skiing, dude. Like, why would I want to meditate? Right? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, right? You're too. Life is too fun, but then you discover life isn't that fun, and you realize actually it sucks. Like, sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it sucks. But you notice that every good time is going to end. You notice every relationship is going to end. Every person is going to die, and it starts to, repeatedly, it hits you over the head. And every time it does, every time some sort of tragedy occurs, whether you get sick or you have to, you know you get terminally ill, or someone else who's terminally ill, or who someone dies tragically, or um, and you get bummed out. This is what this is. This is like people. Um, uh, this is like over. I'm kind of like, this is like overcoming, and that's kind of what the Queen of Cups reverse is too. It's like, overcoming, like, sadness, and this is like overcoming oppression, and that's like, excuse me, that's typically what spirituality is. That's what it's really about. Is overcoming that oppression from that occurs due to life. And the incidents and life just occurring, right, and just by virtue of it happening, and as your life progresses, as you see more and more negative things, um, uh, it becomes oppressive, right? And right, because younger people are typically happier than older people, because the old people, they've seen so much, and they feel like they have less to look forward to, things like that. But this is like oppression, that feeling of oppression, that like karmic oppression, like, oppression from not having a spiritual life. And so this place is attracting people, not who are depressed, but people who they can see, they're they're getting clues that the world is not what they seem. So they're getting to the point where they're not having fun anymore, or, um, that's kind of what I get. Like I kind of get the word perplexed, right? At a certain point, you start to learn things, and you're like, wait a minute, how does that work again? And you realize people are lying to you, and as you get older, you just kind of realize things, right? And it's disconcerting, and it's also it creates a kind of you get disappointed, and you create it. There's a malaise, and there's like a cynicism maybe. But this is so spirituality, at least Eastern spirituality, is typically, and even Western spirituality, right? You look for meaning. You look for meaning. You try to search for meaning. And spirituality is, if it's taught correctly, it is meaning, and if it's taught correctly, it's meaning, and the world becomes more meaningful. Your life becomes more meaningful. So this is like your spirituality as a war against oppression. That's kind of what I get. And we see that very much with the sun. Even when we combine the sun with the emperor, that which we see here, we have the sun upright in the deep past. We have the emperor in the recent past, and even in the near future with the strength card upright. These are all cards of like warfare, but it's like a warfare, leadership, formidable power. I get like a sense of formidable power. I think the candidates here, or the people who attended the academy, were very formidable. They came from formidable lineages. They had a mindset of being formidable, like powerful and strong and fierce, and but also virtuous, and raised by thoughtful spiritual people who loved, who worship their deities with real reverence. And I get a sense of the sun there in the deep past. I mean, it's just such a powerful, virtuous card to have there. And this sun card at the very root of this Celtic cross spread is informing all these cards next to it. It's informing the Emperor, the Queen of Cups reversed, the Seven of Cups, the Strength card upright, and even the Hierophant reversed. All those cards are directly adjacent to this Sun card. So this Sun card is really like elevating and informing all these other aspects of the spread. It's directly adjacent to all those cards. So we see this intense brightness, like this brightness that comes from spiritual teachings, spiritual transmission, spiritual lineage. So this is like, how like you ever take a yoga class and you feel really good after yoga. Dude, I could use some yoga, dude. I tell you that. Holy crap! But this is like how you feel, after you do yoga. So it's just that feeling of like my body and my mind are waking up, and I haven't felt this good in years. It's kind of like that. So this is like I see this as there's a lot of momentum, a lot of potentiality here, and it's a war against oppression, and it's not a real war. In this case, this is not a real war here. These are people who are practicing spirituality to improve their ability to help themselves and also to help others. That's what I get here. It's like these are servants. These are people who actually, they're not going into government so they can get a high paying job later, so they can quit government and then work for some sort of corrupt corporation or something. These are people that are actually, they're thinking about people. They're thinking about people less fortunate than them. These are like Jedi or something. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Is like these people are like Jedi. They are here to learn about the universe so they can help others. That's what I'm getting here. It's a very service minded, in a very high level, very noble. These are people who are imbued with these other beliefs and serving others, and it's not in like a cheap sense or just a way to something to put on your resume or put in your speech or something. It's like like in a deeply authentic way. These people want to uplift people, and they want to protect their people, and they want to like enrich their people, and that's what I get here. These are like shepherds, like they're like that's not really a great example because usually shepherds like end up slaughtering their animals. So I don't mean it like that. I mean it like these are people that are trying to protect. Their goal is to get good enough and wise enough to be able to protect their people. That's what I get here. So highly, very noble. This is a very noble thing. Um, this academy. It's an academy that existed prior to 400 BC. Okay, so in the hope, spheres, and opportunities, we have the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is like working with energy. It's also harmony with your environment. I'm getting like it's working with energy, and it's also good fortune. It's almost like the Wheel of Fortune here. It's like good fortune, and it's spiritual teaching, and it's also like I said, harmony and working with your environment. I'm almost getting like a alchemist vibe here, like a temperance or something. This is like learning to work with energy and learning to work with your environment. Like integrate with your environment, integrate with the elements like the five elements. Um, that's what I see here. This is like high mindedness, like in a very noble sense, in a real sense, and in a humble sense. It's like, but this is like people who have their minds are bright. Um, that's what I'm getting here. Their minds are bright, and they're inclined towards the divine. So divinities, uh, divinities, as we see with as I told you before about the strength card. I think that represents Demeter. So whatever the Indian incarnation of Demeter would be. So that'd be Durga, I believe. Durga. And of course, nine is a very holy number in the Vedas. It's a very highly regarded number, very important number. Um, well, that's what this is like. Connection to the divine, and it's also like I'm getting like magic and working with the elements and learning to integrate your will, your mind with the outer environment. So like magic. Um, yeah, this is good fortune and its connection to the divine. So the final card today in this spread is wouldn't you know, death. So death because it's a spiritual. It's a the This is an academy that is so it's a spiritual academy. It's an academy that teaches about spirituality. Spirituality is ultimately about death, how to encounter death, how to transcend death, how to overcome death ultimately. Um, so this confirms my read so far with this. This is just further confirmation for what I've said so far. This is a spiritual place. This is a place that is focused on spirituality, on spiritual teachings, on overcoming death, on meditation, the nature of the mind, magic, working with the elements, meditation. And this is a place for high ranking people to overcome death. Um, Obviously, we know the outcome was death. As far as the academy it eventually was destroyed. Um, but I think this means this could also mean that in some way this academy exists somewhere else. Like it still exists. It's kind of getting like this is like because the death card is like a portal. It's a portal to another realm, to another reality. It's about piercing the veil, the veil. I'm sorry, the veil, not the veil. Piercing the veil of reality. I know that's a corporate. I think it's a legal term or something. But what I'm saying is this is like another realm. This indicates another realm, This obviously, so death is like another realm, another life. And I'm getting this sense very strongly with this card. I'm getting the sense very strongly that this indicates that this academy, it disappeared from this realm, like it does not exist. The building, some remnants of the building exist. They're now called the Taj Mahal, but this academy, it exists on another plane. It exists. Um, I'm getting. This is like heavy. I'm getting. I am getting that this academy exists on another realm, and I'm getting also that there are 13 realms where this academy exists, where not this exact academy, but different permutations of this academy, like different, different branches of this academy, or different buildings but the same teachings, different students but the same school. Um, that's what I'm getting here. I'm getting like there's 13 different realms. That's kind of what I'm getting. I don't want to get too wacky with this card here, but I'm getting it. There's another realm, at least one other, um, possibly, multiple realms where the teachings that were taught at this school, at the Taj Mahal, are being taught currently right now in other realms. Like, so this, what I'm saying is, the Taj Mahal in our realm is not an academy currently, right? It's a tourist trap currently, but it's in another realm. In another realm, it exists. Um, in another plane. On another plane, it still exists. Like there's students attending now on this other plane, and I'm feeling that there are other multiple planes where this, whatever tradition they were teaching at this academy, whatever lineage, whatever teachings, whatever knowledge they were teaching, that's still being taught. It's still being taught. It's not being taught at the current Taj Mahal location because that has been, overcome by, you know, hostile forces. But in other realms, it's still transmitting. It still has students and teachers and lineages and teachings. I know that sounds kind of wacky, but that's honestly what I'm getting here is that, uh, yes, they're teaching about death, how to overcome death. They're teaching spirituality, the nature of mind, the nature of transmigration, and also the nature of the afterlife, and the nature and the reality of other realms. And I'm seeing here also, as I said, that this academy still exists. It's just on a different plane. Okay, it still exists. It's on another plane, and I'm also getting that there are multiple planes. I know that sounds crazy. It's like, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning here, so I know that sounds crazy. I know, but I'm just saying what I'm getting here. It's like, um, I basically said it. I'm going to just repeat myself. So I'm getting it still exists. Like the lineage, even though there's no evidence, there's like very little evidence, just like, ruins throughout, ancient or Asian civilization or Indian civilization or Hindu civilization. There's like remnants, there's tidbits. We have like scriptures. We have the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, things like that. Samaveda, Atharva Veda. We have Ayurveda. We have Arthashastra. All these different. We have many, many books, many, many texts. We have many temples left, but I'm saying there's more. So that stuff is evidence. That stuff would be like archaeological evidence. Not necessarily archaeological. The temples would be. The Taj Mahal would be. But I'm saying the scriptures are in a way, they're kind of like scraps from this lineage. Those scriptures point to this lineage, and this lineage uh, does not exist on our plane as of yet. Not at least not in that location, but it does exist on a different realm, on a different plane in a different realm. That's what I'm getting. And it's not just one location. There's other locations in other realms. That's what I'm getting. Okay, that's what I'm getting. Okay, guys. I think that's going to be it for now. Thank you guys very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you all are doing very, very well. I hope everyone's happy and healthy, and everyone's being good and not being naughty. And I'm going to see you guys again very, very soon. I'm going to try to pick up the pace with these readings here. But in the meantime, everyone be safe and be good, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.